Today, we're going to dive into a story that'll make your heart race and your palms sweat. It's a tale of bravery, fear, and the dark unknown. Get ready for every caver's horrifying nightmare. Imagine you're John, a seasoned cave explorer. You've been inside more caves than you can count, but nothing could prepare you for what happened in Narrow's cave. It was a chilly Saturday morning when John and his best friend Mike decided to explore Narrow's cave. They'd heard stories about how tight and twisty it was. But hey, that's what made it exciting, right? As they drove to the cave entrance, John felt a weird feeling in his tummy. It was like tiny butterflies were having a dance party in there. But he brushed it off. It's just excitement, he told himself. The road to the cave was bumpy and winding. Trees lined both sides, their branches reaching out like spooky fingers. John and Mike chatted about their past adventures, laughing at funny memories. But as they got closer to the cave, a strange silence fell over them. At the cave entrance, John and Mike double-checked their gear. Helmets? Headlamps? Water and snacks? Extra batteries? First aid kit? Check. They were all set to go. Before entering, they took a moment to appreciate the view. The cave mouth looked like a giant monster ready to swallow them. Moss and ferns grew around it, adding a touch of green to the gray rocks. The moment they stepped into the cave, darkness swallowed them whole. Their headlamps cut through the black like tiny suns. The air felt cool and damp on their skin. It smelled earthy, like wet dirt and old rocks. For the first hour, everything was going great. They squeezed through tight spots, climbed over rocks, and even saw some cool cave formations. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like icicles, while stalagmites reached up from the floor. In some places, they joined to form columns that looked like nature's own pillars. John was having a blast. He loved the feeling of exploring, of seeing things that few people ever get to see. Every turn brought something new and exciting. But then they came to a part of the cave called the Squeeze. It was a super narrow passage that they had to crawl through. Mike went first. He wriggled his way in like a worm, disappearing into the tiny hole. John took a deep breath and followed. As he entered the Squeeze, the walls seemed to close in around him. It was so tight. He could feel the rough rock scratching his back. The sound of his breathing echoed loudly in the narrow space. Halfway through, something changed. John's breath started coming faster. His heart began to race. Suddenly, the passage felt even smaller. It was like the cave was shrinking. "I can't breathe," John gasped. He tried to move forward, but his body wouldn't listen. He was stuck. Panic set in. John's mind went into overdrive. What if he couldn't get out? What if he was trapped here forever? What if his light went out? The more he thought about it, the worse it got. This, my friends, is what cavers call high anxiety. It's when fear takes over and makes you feel like you're in terrible danger, even if you're not. Mike's voice came from ahead. "John, you okay, buddy?" But John couldn't answer. His throat felt tight, like someone was squeezing it. His chest hurt. He wanted to cry, but no tears came out. The darkness seemed to press in on him from all sides. This is the moment every caver dreads, being stuck in a tight spot, unable to move forward or backward. It's a nightmare come true. John closed his eyes tight. He tried to remember the breathing exercises he'd learned. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slowly, very slowly, he felt his heart start to slow down. "I can do this," he whispered to himself. "I've done harder things before." Inch by inch, John started to move again. It felt like it took forever. But finally, he saw light at the end of the passage. With one last push, he tumbled out of the Squeeze. Mike was there, worry written all over his face. "You scared me, man." What happened? John sat up, taking deep breaths of the cave air. It had never tasted so sweet. "I panicked," he admitted. "I thought I was going to be stuck forever." Mike patted his friend's shoulder. "But you made it through. You're stronger than you think, John." They sat there for a while, John sipping water and eating a candy bar to help calm his nerves. As his heart rate returned to normal, he realized something important. Fear is a part of adventure. It's what makes it thrilling. But sometimes, fear can take over. And when it does, it's okay to take a moment, breathe, and remember how strong you really are. After resting, John and Mike decided to turn back. They'd had enough excitement for one day. The journey out was tough, but John faced each challenge with new courage. As they made their way back, John noticed things he'd missed on the way in. Beautiful crystal formations sparkled in the light of their headlamps. Tiny cave crickets scurried away as they passed. In one large chamber, their lights revealed ancient cave paintings on the walls. Despite his earlier panic, John found himself appreciating the beauty of the cave. It was like a hidden world, full of secrets and wonders. As they emerged from the cave, the sunlight felt like a warm hug. John had never been so happy to see the sky. The trees, the clouds, even the boring old parking lot looked amazing after hours underground. That night, as John lay in bed, he thought about his experience. He'd faced his worst fear and come out the other side. Sure, it was scary, but he'd done it. This story, my friends, is why caving is not for the faint of heart. It tests not just your body, but your mind too. It pushes you to your limits and shows you what you're really made of. But here's the thing, John's experience isn't rare. Many cavers have faced similar challenges. It's part of what makes the caving community so tight-knit. They understand each other's fears and triumphs. So, what can we learn from John's nightmare in Narrow's cave? First, always be prepared. John and Mike had the right gear and knew what they were doing. This helped them stay safe even when things got scary. Second, know your limits. It's okay to turn back if something feels too dangerous or scary. There's no shame in putting safety first. Third, breathe. When panic sets in, focusing on your breath can help you calm down. It's a simple trick, but it works wonders. Fourth, trust your team. Mike was there for John when he needed help. In caving, as in life, having good friends can make all the difference. Lastly, remember that facing your fears can make you stronger. John came out of that cave a different person. He knew he could handle tough situations. Now you might be thinking, wow, caving sounds terrifying. Why would anyone do that? Well, for many cavers, the thrill of exploring unknown places is worth the risk. They love the challenge, the beauty of underground worlds, and the sense of accomplishment. But it's not for everyone. And that's okay. The important thing is to find your own adventures, whatever they may be. Maybe for you, it's climbing mountains, or diving in the ocean, or even trying new foods. Whatever you choose, remember John's story. Remember that it's okay to be scared sometimes. It's okay to struggle. What matters is that you keep going, keep breathing, and believe in yourself. So, the next time you face your own squeeze in life, think of John. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself how strong you are and keep moving forward. You might just surprise yourself with what you can do. And who knows, maybe someday you'll have your own adventure story to tell. Just remember to bring a headlamp and maybe some extra candy bars, just in case. That's all for today, brave explorers. Remember, every adventure, big or small, is a chance to learn something new about yourself. So go out there and find your own caves to conquer. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep exploring.